As many times as I've been here at the Spotsylvania battlefield, I've never taken Upton's trail. The story is that by the night of May 8th, the Confederate Army was in firm possession of Spotsylvania Courthouse. Grant looked for opportunities to attack. So he thought he would attack in the center of the line, Lee's line, thinking it must be weak. So he ordered a general assault to take place just before sunset on May 10th. Colonel Emory Upton, a brilliant 24-year-old brigade commander from New York, was assigned to lead the assault. On the day of the attack, Upton assembled a strike force of 12 regiments, 5,000 men, behind us at the Shelton House. Union troops flushed Confederate skirmishers from these woods, and Upton's men followed, moving undetected along this woods road to within 200 feet of the Confederate line. I've never walked Upton's trail. So, here's the wartime woods used by Upton. A pleasant walk on a nice, sunny, gusty day, which is a little cool. Forming for the attack. Had you been here in 1864, you would have been standing at the edge of a field that stretched from here to the Confederate works, straight ahead. Upton's men advanced four abreast in a column up this road. When they reached this point, they silently deployed into a line of battle just inside the wood line to the left and right of this road. To reach the Confederate line, Upton's men would have to charge across 200 yards of open ground, claw their way through a barrier of fallen trees purposely placed, and overrun a stout earth and log defensive line, all the while exposed to the artillery and infantry fire of the foe. At 5:50 p.m., Upton gave the order to advance. I felt my gorge rise and my stomach and intestines shrink together in a knot, and 1,000 things rushed through my mind. I looked about in the faces of the boys around me, and they told the tale of expected death. Pulling my cap down over my eyes, I stepped out. Corporal Clinton Beckwith, 121st New York. Here's a clearing in front of me. 6th Corps, memorial to the brave and daring men who fought in Upton's charge, May 10, 1864. The 5th Maine, the 96th Pennsylvania, 121st New York, 5th Wisconsin, 6th Maine, 49th Pennsylvania, 119th Pennsylvania, 77th New York, 43rd New York, 6th Vermont, 5th Vermont, and 2nd Vermont. Confederate mule shoe defenders on this side. Ramseur, Daniel, Doles, and Walker. Erected 1994. Let's see what those plaques have to say. The woods are behind me. Just before 6 p.m. on May 10th, 1864, 5,000 Union soldiers, led by Colonel Henry Upton, formed in deep masses rather than traditional battle lines, emerged from the woods ahead of you and dashed across this field. They reached the main Confederate line here. Leaping over the works, they began stabbing with bayonets and swinging their muskets like clubs. More than 900 Confederate prisoners and 4 cannon fell into their hands. The victorious Federals swept down the works, widening the breach. But no one had made arrangements to support the attack, and without more men, Upton could go no farther. Meanwhile, in the fields behind you, Confederate generals marshaled troops to recapture the works. As daylight faded to darkness, Upton would be in for the fight of his life. Confederate counterattack. Confederate General Richard S. Ewell responded quickly to Upton's breakthrough at Dole's salient. Wading into the melee, he shouted to the outnumbered defenders, "Don't run, boys. I will have enough men here in 5 minutes to eat up every damned one of them." Ewell was as good as his word. Within minutes, thousands of Confederate soldiers converged on this spot. Although initially successful, Upton's attack quickly turned into a fight for survival. Confederate lines coming across the fields behind you pressed against now ragged Union battle lines. Without help, Upton's men could not hold out for long. As darkness settled over the battlefield, the Southerners drove Upton's men from the salient and recaptured the cannons they had lost earlier in the evening. It says Upton captured 350 Confederates in his initial charge. Union soldiers hurried the prisoners to the rear under a heavy fire. So, there's the road we came from. And this direction, you can see what's called the Mule Shoe salient up that way. That's another part of this battlefield. But this is Upton's Trail.